Hi everyone, it's Ellie here, and today I'm going to be doing another update to my apprenticeship journey. Today I'm going to be talking about Cosmia, and I'm also going to be talking about my experience with interviewing author Cynthia Murphy. Cynthia is the author of Last One to Die, Win, Lose, Kill, Die, and her newest release, The Midnight Game. So stay tuned on this video if you want to hear more about Cosmia and more about my experience with interviewing an author. One of the main steps that I needed to do in regards to prep for the event was actually to create questions that I wanted to ask Cynthia. So because I've never done this on my own before, I was actually able to take inspiration from other interviews that Kirklees Libraries have done. If you've seen our LAL that Kirklees Libraries was running over COVID, then you will know that we've had many different authors on there, and so I was able to look through a few of those and see if there was any questions that I'd like to ask. I also sat in an interview with Jessie Keane, the crime writer, with Kirsty, one of our development librarians, and I was actually able to ask a few viewer questions, so I was able to take inspiration from those as well. I also took into account what it was that I would want to know and what it was that I was interested in hearing about. So, from all those places, I was able to come up with a list of questions which I was happy with and which I wanted to ask. I then went to Sophie and Stevie, and we were able to go back and read through all the questions that I'd listed and see if there was any changes that we wanted to make or if there was anything that maybe I'd missed. So me, Sophie and Stevie then came up with, I think, one or two extra questions that were inspired by the book that Sophie read. And from that, we had a full set of questions. So I'm going to tell you two of my favourite questions which we asked Cynthia. The first one was, you released your first book, Last One to Die, in 2021. Where did you get the inspiration for this book from? I really liked this question because both me, Kirsty and Sophie all read one of Cynthia's books, and I read Last One to Die. So it was really interesting to hear about sort of the inspiration behind that book after having read it. My second favourite question was, we have seen that you are in the process of writing new books. Is there anything you can tell us about those? So Cynthia was able to come back and she did give us a few little sneak peeks about what these books could be about. One of which, Welcome to Camp Killer, the cover has actually been released this week and it looks amazing. So it's being released in September of this year and I cannot wait to read it. So the next two clips that I'm going to show are from the interview that I did with Cynthia, so I hope you enjoy.
Writing seemed like a viable income option, which of course. So I started writing seriously. I wrote this urban fantasy that basically nobody wanted to read or no one was interested in, but it got me into that kind of. I did my research. I found out what an agent was and why you might need a literary agent for things. I found out that. So that's the book is based on 6 people who meet up, but they meet on a website. So they meet on a website called Deadit, and they all want to know if these things are real or not. So they decide to do the thing you're not supposed to do, and they meet up in real life, and they are going to play the Midnight Game. So it's told partly through the Deadit threads before they meet, and then it's told partly through the story when they do meet and when they're playing the game.
As I mentioned a little bit earlier, me, Sophie and Kirsty all read one of Cynthia's books. I read Last One to Die, and this book was amazing. I would highly recommend it. It's about 16-year-old Neve who comes over from Ireland to London for a 6-week drama programme. Now, within minutes of getting to the hotel and throughout the entire of the trip, Neve starts to realise that young girls are getting injured or killed, and the one thing they have in common is her. So you should absolutely read Cynthia's books. It was amazing. We have all 3 of Cynthia's books on our catalogue and also on Libby, so you should definitely check them out. Also, Cynthia did a book signing at the end of her interview, and so me and Sophie were able to get our copies of her book signed, which is just amazing. So that is it. That is my experience with interviewing Cynthia Murphy at the Cosmia Festival. Thank you all very much for watching and listening, and stay tuned on our social medias to hear more about what the apprentices are getting up to. Bye!